So, number six. Yeah, say about this. Guess let's start with more incursions into Africa. No, that's not what I meant to say. Also, just generally discovering stuff about the water slightly beyond. I actually didn't know you could shift scroll. Shucks. Eh. Oh, yeah. I just didn't know you could shift scroll to use a scroll wheel to go horizontally. Yeah, they still mostly just find desolate desert. This doesn't stop intrepid explorers from just going around like this. But they still discover that Ethiopia is kinda a desert. Oh, and also none of these WICSO languages have a word for archaeology because they know nothing about it. They don't really know much about art. There's no real good way for them to know much about Earth before it was reset like this. In other words, no artifacts really remain. The alternate future of the world season 2 Earth. See, and then they try to discover how, like, what's just desert is. Mainly by Southern European and Arabian explorers working together. Oops. So yeah, eventually they find out really only the northern half of the continent is that suitable for actual like habitation for now. I have a clear boundary. I have a few clear boundaries in mind for like for I consider like colonial populations. Oh, yeah, eventually we got a version of Egypt. Eventually. Further trade networks are built to reach India in an attempt to stabilize the continent. I don't know where it's not making India cannibalize itself. It's funny how I was able to correct. Honestly, it's funny how I was able to just correctly guess, like, trade networks. So, yeah, eventually both sides here meet a boundary. So, yeah, which means just like real history, Western Anatolia is now a lot more similar to Magna Graeca than is the Eastern Anatolia. I feel like I might make an ethnic map once I get to like actual colonial stuff. However, that's still a long ways ahead, so that can wait. So, yeah. Over at the east, more land gets discovered. At this rate, they might reach Australia ahead of schedule. Hmm. It's mostly just me doing this. Sorry, my sorry, barged in the wrong time and then came again. Like, seriously, does this guy not learn his lesson the first time? Or am I just overly neurotic for no reason? Yeah, I think I bug out for no reason. As funny as Emperor of Elba is, unless you say it out loud, it's kinda. I wonder, how does this look? And if I go over it, oh geez. Remind me to not make those two invade each other again. So yeah, Portugal quickly starts just conquesting up and down Iberia. Also, for this semi-unified Iberia, I think I'm just going to keep on calling it Portugal, even though in practice it's more or less Portugal Castile. How did I not notice those pixels there? So yeah, quickly both of these powers swoop in and take over. Well, to be fair, Portugal gets most of the land because they put in most of the work. Oh god, I just realized how much. I think you can tell I like Portugal, considering I'm giving their WICSO equivalent. Considering I'm giving their WICSO equivalent like this much. Do you know the capital is still like way over here in the west? I'd say probably where Braga is, IRL. That or Porto, which is actually where Portugal gets its name. Yeah, I feel like around that area, yeah. Probably place some cities I've openly confirmed on the map. So one around this area, one around here. Essentially, the major cities line. Essentially, this country's major cities line its western and eastern coasts. Not much inland, really. Uh, like another one for Gibraltar. At least the WICSO English aren't fighting over that rock since they're too busy doing whatever. A lot of Italy's, a lot of WICSO Italy's cities are mostly just around the Italian peninsula. There are some cities here. I can't forget Ancira. And also about this one, right there. This one, on the River Thames. To be fair, this one is more this. You know, London is the capital of the UK because it's on the River Thames. In other words, it was too useful in this position. Just the way cities are at their location on the map makes you really think. Okay, it doesn't make me, but yeah, this city here at Crimea. Surprisingly enough, you have a city like this. Yeah, it's not actually the capital despite it being a fair bit larger. So the remaining powers kind of just carved up this land between themselves. Well, I really need this trade network now that we all know it's just there. Funny enough, how Pontic population is just casually cut off the italics. That one specific point. So yeah, eventually Northern Africa is settled. That's things couldn't get worse. They set a shop over here. Let's set up shop over here-ish. I think I already used this color. And some of these are going to be like 50 shades of ugly. See, I was mainly these populations, the red ones, that just started taking everything over. And the italics, right? Yeah, they're kind of boxed off. Unless they cross the Black Sea, which none particularly feel like doing. Well, to be fair, it's not an ego competition, so. So they discovered that. So this is just like a. I don't know how to describe this. Yeah, it was just a smaller sea. Eventually they discover Sakhalin. Kind of stopped there. I've barely confirmed any cities over here, so let me do that real quick. I probably should be. I think that's the color you used. I don't know. I was just doing some lazy shortcutting. You can tell a lot of these are going to be coastal cities. Hey, small break to take my normal pills. Sound like real life straight up horror movie. This isn't just actively fought over. To be fair, these two countries are kind of, you know, not that happy with each other. And it's like Portugal and Morocco, not that happy with each other. So naturally, they decide to have a wee wee measuring contest, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean, right? Wee wee. You know, your forbidden lemonade hose. Or it's kind of just the Schmeat measuring contest. Yeah, neither of them win, really. Realize, oh yeah, Cyprus is just there. Whoops. So, metallic forces kind of run over it. Ta-da! It's not really much in the way of a city. Yeah, so trust me, I'm building up to it. Turn it on. Uh, but, anyways, thanks for watching.